Hi there guys, Junky here, and today we are going to be playing some Napoleon Total War with Darth Mod. I've got a few replays for you today of games between me and the Tyrant. I am playing as the Spanish, and he is playing as the Russians. I chose the Spanish because I wanted to be devious, and they've got a few of these units that can deploy outside of the main deployment area. So I've set up a little ambush on this left side. I've got some light infantry, some castadors, and some line infantry right behind those as a main firing base. I've got 2 units of cavalry up in here. I've got the lanceros and some hussars, and then I do believe that these are some mounted gunners, which are also guerrilla units. And then on the back left, I've got some horse artillery that can quickly move up to support my Swiss grenadiers as well, and the whatever these would be called, that they are heavy cavalry. And then for the main army setup, we've got 2 units of the 12-pounder foot artillery. We've got 4 units of the Spanish Marines, which are very, very good at shooting, which is the main reason why I bought them. I believe their shooting skill is up to 48, which for a line infantry unit is absolutely fantastic. And then we've got Walloon Guards in reserve next to my general. And on the right flank we have another unit of Walloon Guards, some dragoons, and a unit of hussars as well. So basically, very left heavy with a main staying force in the middle. I like to bring a lot of cavalry so that so I've got a bit of mobility, and we'll get the battle going. The Tyrant brings out many musketeers. He likes to fight historically based on the armies that he's using, so he just has a fucking shit ton of Russians. He's got a few of these Jaegers in the centre. On this left flank, he's got some 12-pounder foot artillery and 3 units of musketeers with a Cossacks to support. 3 more units. Grenadiers and guards in the centre with another 12-pounder. 5 units of these musketeers on his right side, and 12-pounder foot artillery as well, and some Cossacks. So I move up these few units on the left to bait him in, and I'm going to set up my artillery in a second. And then in the centre we're just going to start to open fire with these 12-pounders. I believe they're aiming at his artillery as well. Don't believe the angle is too great, so we'll see if they do any damage. And these first shots do skip over, which is a shame. I'm turtling quite a bit. I'm just kind of waiting for him to come forward. Seeing as he has numbers, I want to make sure I use the terrain to my advantage. That lifeguard Cossacks is coming in now, and it will be coming into range of my ambushing infantry very shortly. And soon I'll be setting up this horse artillery to pound these guys out as well. As you may notice, if you've played a lot of Napoleon, that there's generally a lot more sound going on in this. Every unit's got its own drums. The smoke effects are a lot nicer. The units are a lot bigger. There's a lot more unit variety, and the units actually fight a bit differently as well. The morale aspect of the game plays very, very differently. So if you haven't played it already and you're kind of looking for something new to kind of reinvigorate the series, the Darth Mod is there for everything up to Rome 2, I believe. So the Tyrant's pushing forward through these woods in the centre with his Jaegers. Up ahead, basically just kind of bounding his troops forward. His main left flank is moving slowly down, unopposed in this valley, while his Cossacks will begin to clear out that side. as his Cossacks are coming to range, I move out my mounted gunners to chase them down. I need to stop them there. I believe he'll probably do a counter charge. I'm actually going to be getting my own guys shot by my light infantry here. But here they come. This is where most of the action was going on. Caught him unawares here, and his left side is very, very weak. He's got, or his right side, sorry. He's got this main mass of musketeers, which he'll use to kind of push me off. But in terms of skirmishing opponent and cavalry, he's quite deficient. So hopefully I'll be able to take advantage of that. For some reason I start running these mounted gunners into this forest. And I still haven't set up these horse artillery. I believe I'll move him over into this area so that he can fire, provide some support through it into these forests. I'll get a volley off with these the castors, and then I will retreat because they're going to lose that fight against the combined guns of those muskets. As for my centre left, I did move 2 of these units of marines to the edge of this forest so that we can open up a bit quicker. I kept these 3 units lower down behind the defilade of the land just to make sure they can be hit by his artillery. The artillery in general for both sides wasn't really that effective until the later stages of the battle, and that was mostly when he was getting close to my batteries and my 6-pounders over here. I don't believe that his 12-pounders did too much damage. If only it had the kill cards that Rome 2 has, that would be helpful. So what you see here is you see me advancing out the trees to engage these musketeers. Got my light infantry in light infantry formation, so that means that my musketeers can fire over them, and I'm moving my mounted castors round to take out his artillery, which he's put a lot of chevrons into, so that in terms of money spent, that should be quite a good exchange. Moving up these heavy horse to my right side to intimidate these musketeers. I will go for a charge, but he's going to go into square formation, so I'm going to have to pull out of that. And you see me bringing down one of my hussar units to give him something else to think about. Once these horse artillery are in position, they're going to start pounding away. And there's an opening volley on these 12-pounders. He sees it and moves his guards in to assist, but it's going to be too little too late, I'm afraid. And these 12-pounders are going to bite the dust. In the centre, the main line is starting to creep up on my position, and this right flank is rushing very quickly down. I'm going to really struggle to hold that off. Artillery taking the first few shots there. So we routed one unit of his 12-pounders, and we're going to pull out straight away, get out of that extended fight. And over on this side, they continue the engagement, and then we're going to charge in the hussars and the heavy horse to get them into square formation. We're going to try and pull them out, but these cavalry are brave fools. They want to put the Russians to the sword, and you'll see here my 6-pounders are about to be set up, and they're going to wreak absolute havoc on these 2 line infantry units, especially when they're in square formation and everything is all very cramped together. It's going to be doing a lot of damage. He's moving around one of his units of life guard Cossacks onto the left side to counter my cavalry movements on the left. The sound in these games is so much better. There we go. A few of those shots missed, but you can see the morale effect of just being bombarded by those cannons, as well as these light infantry and volunteers, is going to really start to take its toll. And the main fight is going to start to begin. We open up, with my Marines, which are just set to fire at will. These artillery are going to start having a go at whatever's in front of them, and we're going to move up my hiding 3 units of Marines to present a united front across the centre. The General and another unit of heavy horse are going to stay in reserve. And soon we're going to have to start worrying about this right flank. But if we go back to the left, you can see that we've already routed one of his musketeers, and he's going to charge forward to make his volleys a little bit more effective. And the lifeguard Cossacks are headed for my Castors on this left side. Not sure if he's going to catch me or not, but either way, got 2 units to 1, despite the fact that these are very, very elite cavalry. Bring up my heavy cavalry from reserve to charge into these musketeers while he is busy elsewhere, and get that unit routed away while my hussars and Castors and lancers start to take care of the remaining lifeguard Cossacks. Now, so we've won this left flank, puts us in very good stead. He's got a few units to slow us down, including his guards, which will take quite a while to fall. But I'm sporting elite infantry in the centre, which will stand for a lot longer and have a better fire rate than his musketeers. So this fight is going to looking like it's going to be pretty good. A few of my units don't really have the right angle to engage, but that's a mistake on my part. And you can see my Walloon guards on the far right going to start to engage his musketeers. And my hussars are going to get charged by this lifeguard Cossacks. It's not very good micro on my part, but I'll move over these dragoons to support. We're going to pull back our Walloon guards. I think we'll even move over another unit of cavalry to get involved and support those. We charge through one of our heavy cavalry into these guards. Not sure if this was the best move or not, but it does hold them down for a while. I moved back my infantry to kind of coax him back forward, but he's not going to fall through this time. And we're going to start running around these 3 units of cavalry into his rear lines, really cutting off any retreat and dealing with his artillery, which aren't being too functional, well, too useful at this point. But still, it's good to get those out of the way so that you know that you definitely have the artillery advantage. It gives you a lot more options. Say if you do start to lose the main fight, you can rally around your artillery and not have to worry about beating guys in quite tight formations. Epupus was winning this fight actually, and decides to charge in his line infantry. This is probably a decent idea, saying as I am cleaning up on the left side, he's got to deal a decisive blow pretty quickly. So he's going to start to charge my guys in, charge his infantry in. However, my guys are elite, but the Marines don't have the best in melee stats for some reason, so they don't do so well in this fight. But you'll see my Walloon guards can get charged on this flank as well. I don't know if I get a counter charge in, doesn't look like it, but they're tough as nails, so they'll be holding those off. My Castors continue to run up in his rear lines. One of my heavy cavalry that's dealing with those guards is going to rout. However, I do have these lancers here ready to engage, and I've moved up my infantry as well, along with that 6-pounder. As far as the main fight goes, this melee charge, my Walloon guards get involved as well. One of my line unit does rout, and this one is relatively unopposed, but you'll see that my artillery are going to start to focus fire on these buildings, because if you can get these buildings down, then the whole building will collapse and the units inside will just instantly die. So I never like putting my guys inside buildings unless you're really struggling and they've got no artillery left, and you're using fucking hard units like Coldstream Guards or just elite line infantry. My Walloon guards do break under the weight of the Russian numbers, and I don't even notice this at the time, so you're going to see these musketeers run straight into my cannons and absolutely wreck them. They're going to be rendered useless. I reckon if I'd bounded through these 3 units in the trees over to the top of this hill, I would have won this fight a lot quicker. But oh well. We get our lancers through from behind, and we're going to charge this wavering unit of musketeers and start to win this fight even more. And I'm going to creep forward with our light infantry and light infantry on the far left. Also, the Castors are going to get involved on the right side. We're going to move forward onto these Jaegers to help put some more pressure on there. We've got a few units of cavalry here, one routed, one that's just not being used because of micro mistakes, and they're going to be crucial in holding off these 2 units here. The general's getting shot at. I will move him in a second, but it might be too late for the Tyrant, seeing as I'm doing pretty well across the board. My lancers have tied up this unit, which is wavering. He's trying to get them inside a building. I've got these 3 units here that are relatively untouched. He's charging these musketeers in here. I've got my Castors involved, and you also see a few units of heavy cavalry coming in here as well. The Castors at this point are just to hold off this larger mesh of infantry, and these heavy horse will be the ones that are going to be smashing the hammer onto the anvil and clearing up from there. He's going to charge in here his grenadiers, great melee infantry. I'm going to counter charge with my marines. That'll be a tough fight there indeed. These 2 units, the Swiss Guard and the Marines, are also just going to generally open fire on the remaining infantry and start pouring the fire on. And as you see, just as my line infantry rout, my heavy cavalry get involved, and this is Jaegers in loose formation and already severely shaken musketeers, so they will not stand for very long at all. My general moves up to support these remaining units, and these 2 units from my left ambush are going to start to move around to put even more pressure on his centre. The Tyrant's done the right thing though. As the artillery is gone, he's got as many of his units inside these buildings as possible. These Jaegers are great units to use in the buildings if you can keep off the enemy infantry. As they're light units, they might be able to outrun the line infantry, and they have a good firing position from here, so they'll do some damage. But once you get charged, i.e. now, it's not going to go so well. He charges in his remaining infantry into this unit of Swiss Grenadiers, but I turn around my Marines to assist. He routs that 1 unit, but the shots that I'm putting in there are going to do a lot of damage. He charges his general into this unit as well, kind of a last ditch attempt to do some damage. However, he pulls out his Jaegers to assist as well, but he pulls them out just as my cavalry are coming in, so they're going to get run down as well. These units are just getting in position just in case. I do move up my 6-pounder horse artillery. At the time, I was doing my best just to make sure that I could finish the fight. I was getting low on infantry, but my cavalry seemed to carry me in the end. But these 3 units here, the 6-pounders, the light infantry and the volunteers, were my backup plan. So I was going to set them up in this area in case for some reason these units routed. So I'd have the artillery and a relatively undamaged unit to make a final stand. So 3 units of cavalry, 1 unit of marines. I'm going to rush in these marines against these Jaegers. This will be an easy fight for me, and it's just a matter of time. He brings out his Jaegers. He knows the end is near, and I should be running these cavalry into his Jaegers that are exposed now. At this point, I realised that I've probably got the game in the bag, so I start to move up these units as well to put a little bit more pressure on, and also charge in these Jaegers with this small unit of Granada Dragoons to preoccupy it, so I can't get off any more volleys. And that is, as they say, is the ball game. Had a really good fun with this battle. It seems like Darth Mod balances the factions a little bit more than the vanilla version, if only by offering more units and not making elite units so OP. Just because they've got a lot of experience doesn't mean that they can take any more bullets. So these are the stats at the end of the game. I deployed about 700 less than him, but that's kind of what you'd expect from the Russians, and also I've got a lot of cavalry, so that's going to make my numbers a bit lower as well. Took quite a few losses and killed quite a few of the enemy. As you can see, yeah, these 12-pounders did absolutely fuck all the whole time, whereas my mounted Castadors were by far my most lethal unit. So that'll be all for now. We've got another one of these replays coming up very soon, so if you've enjoyed the battle and want to see a little bit more, or generally just want to see more of the content, head over to the main channel, check it out, and if you like it, please like, comment and subscribe. We will see you very soon. This has been Junky, signing off for now. Goodbye.